So this is going to be my review on the Ignis. With the changes to World War II and the increased health at low tiers and things like that, I have been reevaluating like what the best crew trainer in the game is, because now with the Panzer 38H kind of being ousted due to health, and things like that, I think it's kind of important to reevaluate like how good it is. So in my personal opinion, the Ignis is probably one of the best crew trainers in the game. And even though it only has a 25% bonus, one, you're going to earn 50% bonus silver, which is really important. But two, you're kind of always top tier, so you're not as like down bad when you're a tier 8 in a tier 10 game. You're just kind of screwed, right? And even though some of those have 75% bonuses, being forced to be the little guy and the, just over and over and over again, I just don't see the point. So I'm reevaluating, after some low tier changes, what the best crew trainer is, and I've kind of come to the realization it really is just the Ignis, right? Because it has an autoloader and a really long rocket reload, it's not as detrimental to only have like 1 or 2 perks. I actually only have 2 because I use it to train all my crews to 3, which is like the bare minimum. So, I'm going to show y'all kind of how to play this thing. So, with this right here, I go to this flank, but I'm going to turn around because I realize like my teammates are all just undecided. They don't really know where they're going, and I'll be honest, when stuff like that happens, I just go back to the flank that has the most people and call it a day. That's the city. Being in the city and being in this thing, probably not the smartest choice, but I know that I'm probably good enough to where like it shouldn't be like the worst decision I've ever made, although I am going to make a couple really bad mistakes, but the end result's still pretty good. So I'm pretty patient right here because 3 of my teammates are just up trying to brawl with 6 people. I don't quite know why they're doing this. It doesn't really make any sense, but they I think eventually get the picture. And I believe right here I'm gonna fire a rocket a little early because I see him coming. Actually, I think it was like perfect timing, and I just smack him with it. That's something you got to get used to doing when aiming with rockets. Like being more accurate, it's not all that hard. You just gotta aim better. Now right here, I make a mistake. I start shooting for the cat. Don't know why. But then I start going into the chief, and I sit here and just let him shoot me. In hindsight, that's probably not what I should have done, but it's fine, I guess. I swap back to my rockets. His ammo rack's damaged, but I know I can just get away with this for free. He's dead. 2,500 damage, like, immediately. And that's why this tank, I think, is so good, because there isn't a whole lot of tanks that would be able to do something like that. So right here, I keep thinking this medium's going to flank. Joke's on me, he actually doesn't, so instead of getting a random 1v1 here, I kind of misplay. This is why you aim your rockets, because I tried to RBRT, and that's what happens. So I wouldn't have to waste most of my clip to take a shot here if I had just aimed. So yeah, do yourself a favor and aim, don't be me. And then I run onto this leopard. This is also really bad, because yes, I'm going to kill him for it. But that rocket, if I had been a second later, that would have hit me. That would have just ruined my game, like, entirely. This guy isn't paying attention, so I take what I can get while I can. Also a mistake, because I just get shot in my, in the rear. I made a couple of mistakes, and I traded off 1,500 HP, but I have 6,000 damage. So, I traded 4 times my HP. I'm happy with that, so I'm just reloading both my weapons. That's something you got to get used to with the Ignis. There's a lot of reloading, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Right here, I shoot another rocket, and I finish off the M60A2. Here, you're going to see me, because I don't use verts and other things, I'm going to, kind of be punished by, missing a bunch of shots. And for my final ultimate mistake, I finished this guy off, but because I'm tunnel visioned on the WZ, there's more than just a WZ, as the map becomes apparent right about now. If I would have noticed that, I could have survived, but I didn't, and as a result, I noticed it a little bit late, and that happens. But I know I have 9,400 damage. I'm pretty happy with that. That's like, what, 4 times my HP? That's pretty good. But that's like the importance of paying attention. And this guy is also tunnel vision like I was, and he's going to pay a really bad price for it. His choice lane initial is 4 right there too, but I can get over that. But because he was scared to commit, ultimately this guy just gets set on fire and like murdered for like free. He kind of did that to himself, which is kind of unfortunate. And I think that's why it's important to like constantly look up the map every like second or two. But that's kind of hard to get accustomed to, and I'm even guilty of not exactly being the best at it, so you know, it happens. But I do think it is important regardless to recognize that the Ignis right now, if you have one, to use it to train your crews the best you can, because like I said, with these low tier changes, there's not a whole lot of reason to be playing World War II, and you're just essentially being punished at this stage. And you can grind silver and do crews on this, which feels really good, because let's be honest, an extra 3 seconds off your clip, it doesn't matter. Yes. Does it matter when you're shooting someone after you're reloaded? Absolutely not. So it's just one of those things where because of that, it's much more forgiving and it's not as like detrimental to the game. You know, that's just how it goes. I think the Ignis right now is one of the strongest tanks outside of the FV4 211 because that thing's insane. But I got 4 kills, 9,400 damage. I have a ×6 booster, so I make, you know, 35,000 crew XP. I also make 230,000 silver, so you can kind of 2 birds and 1 stone with this tank. And I do think that's pretty important. Now, I want to say, right, like I want to say that the Ignis, it's good, but the setup you need to run is, that's me flexing real quick, but, I truly believe you can't afford to run stabs and gun lane drive. You have to run double speed because your top speed limit is only 65. Everything in their mother is as fast as you are, even heavies. So you kind of feel forced to run, you know, traction system and advanced power terrain and vents. I actually don't recommend taking any aim time or accuracy stuff, even though it feels like it needs it. It's just one of those things where if you're too slow and you get YOLO'd, you're just dead for free. And it doesn't turn all that well, which, you know, those equipment kind of helps with. Because one gives you a 10%, I believe, to turning speed. So, you know, I recommend running double speed in vents. If you can, you know, not get YOLO'd like me, maybe you would, you know, maybe if I had those others right there, I could have hit more shots, but to be honest, this is like the best all-around setup on every map I've found. As you can see, you know, I only had 2 perks and stuff, but this is a really good tank. It kind of is treated like a Batchat. It takes a while to clip out. It has a long reload. And honestly, it's really good. Its depression is really poor though, so be warned. Trying to go like find a hill to shoot, hold down with this thing for some cover is like terrible. And honestly, just not even recommended.